Yes, people, and welcome back to another video on the Bridge YouTube channel where we bring you all things Chelsea. I'm your host with the most, the Bridge 258, here to give you the latest transfer news. Here we go. So let's start with a bit more sadder news to begin with, and that is in regards to Christopher NKUNKU. It's been reported by Nizar Kinsella that Christopher NKUNKU, at least from the club perspective, are optimistic that he won't be missing out at least in months, but will be missing out for a few weeks at the very least, and that he's a major doubt now for Liverpool, for the Liverpool game, which is next week Sunday, not this Sunday, the Sunday next week at 4:30, kickoff at Stamford Bridge. And obviously that's quite disappointing. You know, if you remember the game against Borussia Dortmund, Soldiers Field, which is the field that we played at in Chicago, man, that was not looking too good, bruv. Man, they had like an Ed Sheeran concert. They allowed people onto the grass. I mean, that is not helpful at all. The pitch looked like it was as dodgy as hell. That was not a proper pitch. Definitely wasn't, suited to Premier League standards at all. And sadly, we got a player injured because of that. And I would have liked to have hoped that the clubs would have gotten compensated by the the owner of the stadium in some way, shape, or form because of what's happened. Because now we've lost arguably our star player. Quite literally in NKUNKU, maybe Byron Sterling in attack. Now, a guy that, we were hoping to start with a bang and help the team lead the team. And now, we've lost NKUNKU, which is a big loss in my opinion at the end of the day. Yes, the other guys have done really well, but NKUNKU was meant to be the star of the show. That guy was going to hold it down and everything. And it is what it is, man. But sadly now NKUNKU is going to be definitely out for a few weeks at the it's looking out, which is at least a good thing. Maybe he can come back and be available for game 2 or game 3 of the Premier League. Touch wood. Alright, so that's sadly the NKUNKU news out of the way, I'm afraid. And now let's move on to the next news, which has just come out as I'm reporting, which is on Devin Washington. So Devin Washington is an 18-year-old striker who plays for Santos. As you can see from my thumbnail, him and Angel Gabriel play together, and it seems that the club have now going for him. There's been rumours that maybe this is the option that the club are going to, considering the fact that El Yawahi, who, as you know, the club are targeting from Montpellier, the 20-year-old, is apparently too expensive, particularly the fact now that Frankfurt in the race, West Ham are in the race, and that they're looking for 40 million euros, that maybe the club is like, we don't value him at 40 million euros, we think 30 million is the going price for him, and as such, I maybe looked at Devin Washington as another alternative, wonder kid that they can probably, grow and maybe possibly come to Chelsea Football Club. There's been reported by Fabrizio as well that David Washington, after his medical and confirmation sign, will be heading straight to Strasbourg on loan. So it's looking like, for me, at least from the Strasbourg standpoint, Ugochukwu, Devin Washington, and there's one more person, but we don't know who that is. That's probably going to be going to Santos, because it seems that Angel Gabriel is going to be kept at the end of the day. So, hey ho, we will see, man. We will see. And at the end of the day, I don't know that much on Devin Washington, to be honest. Have no idea on him. All I know that he's a striker. I may do a video, which I usually do, which is like a player profile on the player. Maybe get some analysis on him as well. And actually, you know what? Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I'm definitely going to be doing an Axel Disasi player profile for everyone, so they can probably get a bit more of a understanding on his type of game and what his type of understanding is. And I'll try to do one on Devin Washington as soon as possible for you guys to have a look at too. Okay. Now let's move on to the next bit of news, which is, got me feeling like this right now. I'll be real. It's not nice to be hearing this sort of thing, and that is sadly that the club, according to Nizar Kinsella, the club are also looking at possibly Leandro Paredes, which is the CDM, Argentinian CDM for PSG, as an option for if CAICEDO falls through. And listen, I'll be real. Leandro Paredes is not it, bro. He's not it, man. He's not good enough. He's not right enough right now. If he comes to Chelsea, he's going to be an automatic flop. I'm going to be real. He's not been great for PSG. He's not been great on loan at Juventus. Even Argentina is not that great. Like Rodrigo de Paul gets picked over him, and Rodrigo de Paul is not even that great either. So at the end of the day, man, listen, we don't need to get him. And if you continue on this Caicedo train, to be honest, it's been reported that from Alex Crook of TalkSport that Chelsea set to table a final bid of £90 million as a take it or leave it to Brighton, but we already know that Brighton want £100 million. So, bro, I'm not sure what's going on here, man. I'm not sure what's going on here. Obviously, we've heard the stuff about Edson Alvarez. We've heard the stuff about Chelsea considering paying 20 million relegation release clause for Tyler Adams from Leeds as well. So there's one, two, three options already available that we're hearing about already as alternatives. Is this like a sort of briefing to try to get Brighton to come down from their price? Brighton are briefing, that there's this unnamed, what's it called, buyer that's trying to buy, what's it called, Caicedo, and that, the BBC Simon Stone is also reporting that Brighton have said that they're not going to tell Moises Caicedo and don't expect to bring in a midfielder or two. So is this like a briefing war to try to see who's going to fold first or something like that? I don't know, man, but literally, man, we got to see, because at the end of the day, man, in my opinion, we need to be getting stuff sorted, man. We need to be getting stuff sorted as soon as possible in that midfield. We're already extremely light in that area as it is to begin with, and the fact that we're light there is already a problem. You know what I'm saying? The fact we're light there is the problem. We cannot be starting with Gallagher, Enzo, pivot. I'm gonna be real. We cannot be starting that. I think Gallagher, don't get me wrong, did a good job in terms of the interception part of it, but there was no control literally in that game. It was attack, defense, no control in the middle at all. We were not controlling the ball. We didn't have any position at all, because the middle was just lacking any control, if we're being honest. And we saw that last season under Potter and Lampard, and we've already seen this under Poch. Hopefully Poch realizes, this fantasy is not going to work, and that maybe if we do not bring in Caicedo, we can obviously have, Santos there and Enzo, because I feel like they complement each other a whole lot better than Gallagher, Enzo, because that's not cooking right now. I'm going to be, that's not cooking at all. So listen, man, moving on. Obviously, the latest news in regards to NKUNKU and his possible being out for a few weeks, we've got to turn our heads now to both Kudus and Olise. So it's been reported, I believe, by Fabrizio Romano that Olise has a release cost of £35 million, and that Chelsea are extremely interested. They're still assessing his injury, but in my opinion, bro, if he's only got a £35 million release cost, even though yes, he's got that, may have had that hamstring injury, which would mean he would return in October, you have to go get him, man. Because for me, Olise, man, at least from a player standpoint, he's a great player. He can play in the middle. That's what you want him to play. We need a backup to that anyway. For me, Carney Chukwuemeka, top player, but he's really an 8 for me, not necessarily a 10 in my opinion. So you want to be playing him in the 8 role as well. So as such, I just think for me, if you're looking at what's his name, Carney, you want to be playing him maybe a bit more behind, less so in the 10 role, and you want to be bringing someone like Olise who can play that 10 role quite well. He's Premier League proven, can assist quite well too, and that's something that you might be looking at as well, because you need, creativity wise, Sterling has not been great. If Sterling is due to start, having Olise is going to be a bit more creative than him. Having a Mudryk there, maybe having even a Madueke there, you never know, to create that creativity can be, a bit more of a good thing. You know what I'm saying? So Olise creating, you've got Fingy creating on the right, Mudryk, you got Madueke creating on that side too. Then you got the striker Jackson, who probably is our main striker. Bish Bash Bong, here we go, man. Here we go on that one, indeed. So, Olise, man, let's try to bring him in. Kudus is the other one. Chelsea has spoken with Ajax in the past few days and called them out in regards to Kudus. Again, if you're going to buy him, let's buy him too. He would actually help us, especially in the right wing and the cam area. And with him, he would provide a lot more of a scoring option. He'd be a bit more, compared to Olise, who would be providing us with an assist sort of situation. Guy who's going to be able to find the final ball a bit more. Kudus is going to be a bit more of a final third guy, going to be able to find us shooting opportunities. It's going to be a third option for shooting too, if like the striker is not shooting quite well like Jackson, and then your wingers are not shooting quite well either, then you've got obviously Kudus that can do that job for you too, if you know what I mean. So hey man, that's another option to have. And listen man, it's about what the club want. Do you want shooting or do you want assisting? That's pretty much what it comes down to. And we will see who the club go after, but it's going to have to be quite soon, because obviously this NKUNKU injury, we're lacking a 10 right now, and I'm personally not sure we're going to be starting Carney Chukwuemeka in the 10 next game week against Liverpool. Obviously Lisa's not going to be able to come, so if the club want Kudus, they're going to have to act fast and quickly. It is what it is in my opinion. And finally, let's go on the striker situation in regards to Vlahovic and Romelu Lukaku situation. Apparently Chelsea are still mulling over the situation. From Fabrizio Romano at the very least, it seems that this is going to be a few weeks, it's going to take a little while, that apparently Poch is going to think over it over the weekend before making some form of a final decision as to whether or not he wants Vlahovic at the football club. And with the current situation in NKUNKU, man, having Vlahovic, in my opinion, even though I am not a big fan of his, I've repeated that multiple times already, but I'm not a big fan of it at all, but having him, shouldn't be necessarily an issue for me if you're getting him on a low price, and he could be another option, striking option. Great, good competition, between both himself and Jackson, and can be another option if we need to come off the bench at the end of the day. So for me, that's not necessarily much of a problem indeed. So if you want to bring him in as well, let's do that. Obviously, there's a positive of taking away the toxic man that is himself, Romelu Lukaku. So for me, it's not much of a problem in my eyes. So if you want to do that, let's do that. If you don't want to do that, let's move on from it. And if there's another striker we're looking at, let's get that done. Simple as that, really. And listen, guys, that is the video. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Get me to 375 today. I'm only 4 away from 375, so that's the aim of the game. And again, man, I will really appreciate you guys for watching. Check me out tomorrow. Chelsea transfer live streams, always at 8 p.m. And as I always say, please make sure to stay bloody blue.